Many firms today are confronted by an overwhelming complexity in the environment and problems that actually cut across very different industries. Single firms on their own struggle with that as they have only limited capacity to develop cross-industry solutions and to address these large challenges and meta problems. What we see as a result is that firms increasingly open up and go beyond their own traditional organization boundaries to collaborate with partners, to co-create and co-strategize, to access resources and capabilities they don't have, and to jointly build superior value propositions. In our study, we looked into one of the most vibrant research settings, the emerging electric mobility sector. And here, to create a working solution, contributions from traditional car manufacturers are no longer sufficient. Instead, multiple industries have to contribute, like power utilities and infrastructure, like insurances, like battery manufacturing, like semiconductors and software. All of them must complement each other and work together to create a marketable value proposition. The problem is that bringing all of those together to the table, co-aligning them and finding a coherent direction, and also getting all of those parts into one working whole is a considerable challenge. Our study builds on the question of how these organizations interact and how they get together to jointly work towards an interorganizational strategy. Previous strategy research predominantly focused on what is going on within a single firm. We go beyond this perspective and look into strategy making processes across multiple firms. And to do that, we studied more than 300 multi-partner initiatives consisting of 3 to up to 50 partners from different sectors and different countries. Our results offer novel insights on process dynamics and a model showing how interorganizational strategy comes into existence and how it emerges and evolves. It builds on 3 key phases. Let's look into them. First is initiation. This is where strategizing across multiple firms is triggered and necessary actors and resources are pulled together. The next phase is negotiation. It's where partners involve in a constant matching activity to reach a minimum consensus to be able to go forward into the execution phase, which is the next phase. In execution, this is where the big challenges were sliced into chunks and distributed as manageable work packages to the partners involved, and later had to be reintegrated towards a working whole. In our study, we also highlight the concept of strategic bridging, which is important to overcome the diverse interests and to find a joint understanding of the future and a joint vision that allows coherent activity in the next step. Our study also highlights different micro practices like filling resource gaps, like enhancing visibility, and the importance of building neutral ground. All of that to overcome the obstacles of joint strategy making. To do all that, establishing strategic arenas or spaces was seen to be key. Unlike in single firms, in multi-partner initiatives, there's no place where collaboration, continuous strategic interaction can happen and strategy can unfold. So what is then the takeaway from here? What can we learn from that study? In a world of sectors without borders and rising relevance of ecosystems, where strategy making is dispersed amongst many multiple independent firms, a firm's strategy formulation and execution is increasingly dependent on and shaped by external forces. In such context, we have to provide a space for joint strategizing and to prepare for constant negotiation. We have to build skills and mechanisms to constantly recalibrate strategy in an ongoing effort to find consensus amongst the different parties. So iOS in general is not a masterstroke, but a recurrent activity of negotiation, looking for jointly developed overarching goals and the matching of interests. Being aware of how the strategy process across organizations emerges and evolves will help you to intervene, to understand, and to influence, and to take a leading role in its overall trajectory. So enjoy reading.